Yeah. We in the G5 Hive, buzzing loud, we thrive. Underdogs rising up, taking shots, we alive. From the mountains to the coast, we gon' bring that fire. In the heart of college football, we the ones they admire. Yo, it's game day, stadium packed, feel that rush. From Boise to App State, man, we never hush. Rocking the colors, yeah, we bleed that pride. Cinderella stories, watch our dreams collide. Late nights, bright lights, we grind every play. Underrated talent, we gon' make them say, who's that team when we come to town? Representing for the schools that wear the crown. We in the G5 Hive, buzzing loud, we thrive. Underdogs rising up, taking shots, we alive. From the mountains to the coast, we gon' bring that fire. In the heart of college football, we the ones they admire. Yo, it's game day, stadium packed, feel that rush. From Boise to App State, man, we never hush. Rocking the colors, yeah, we bleed that pride. Cinderella stories, watch our dreams collide. Late nights, bright lights, we grind every play. Underrated talent, we gon' make them say, who's that team when we come to town? Representing for the schools that wear the crown. We in the G5 Hive, buzzing loud, we thrive. Underdogs rising up, taking shots, we alive. From the mountains to the coast, we gon' bring that fire. In the heart of college football, we the ones they admire. We the ones they the ones they can't skip. Fighting for respect, it's a tough road ahead. But we pack that heart and we never dread. Late hits and big plays, we bring in the heat. Watch out for the G5, we can't be beat. From the MAC to the Sun Belt, we don't back down. In this football jungle, we wear the crown. All the doubters sleeping, but we making noise. In the G5 Hive, we the realest boys. When the clock's ticking down, we the ones to believe. One play, one chance, we gon' make them achieve. From the sidelines to the end zone, hear that roar. In the G5 Hive, we always wantin' more. We in the G5 Hive, buzzing loud, we thrive. Underdogs rising up, taking shots, we alive. From the mountains to the coast, we gon' bring that fire. In the heart of college football, we the ones they admire. So raise your flags high, let them wave in the air. In the G5 Hive, we the squad that's rare. With heart and grit, we rewriting the script. In the world of college football, we the ones they can't skip. Yeah.
Here's Navarro on the run. Navarro's going to keep it. Navarro for 6! Touchdown, Bobcat!
I can feel I had a hard time staying in my own lane.
Oh my goodness! Brett Murdoch! Pick 6!
Harvath inside the 30, the 20. Blake Harvath will score!
And Mendoza takes a big hit. He never saw it coming. Trey White got in there.
There's his man, Rucker. And nobody's going to catch him. Goodbye.
Intercepted!
Tyree Skipper! Touchdown!
Telly again, why not? A step forward and make it 2 for Telly!
Quarterback keeper showing off the speed, steps on the gas, untouched!
The G5 Hive. All G5, all the time.
You're on mute, Luke.
This whole intro just ruined. All right, try it again. Welcome to the G5 Hive, where we bring you the G5 college football coverage you love each and every week. I'm Luke. I'm joined by my co-host, Justice. If you're watching us on YouTube, please hit that like and subscribe button. And if you're watching us on X, please give us a follow, a like, and a retweet. And if you're listening to us in podcast form, please rate and review. Tonight, we'll bring you up to speed on the news around the G5, review what went down in Week 11, and set you guys up for success in Week 12 with our Week 12 previews. As a show note, there will be no waiver wire honey for those of you who play college fantasy football. since we're kind of entering the playoffs. Week 12 marks a lot of the start of the playoffs. And I'm assuming you're going to ride with the guys who got you there. We can't imagine there's many people that you're going to pick up who do realistically start in the playoffs. Our 2020 players, however, they will not be on the show either. They will be in a tweet in our graphics in the info. Offense will be on Tuesday. Defense will be on Wednesday. And that's the rundown of what we got for you this week. Justice, anything before we get going?
I was just going to say thanks, Tim. Timothy said loves our podcast. He listens to us every week. So thank you for the support, Tim. If you're watching on YouTube, like, you might see something weird. So we use StreamYard to produce this content, and they just started offering this feature where, like, it gives you two different views. I guess one's more for like a TV, one's for a mobile. We're trying it out, see how it works. So you're going to see like two links on the YouTube. If you're, if you find you don't like one, go to the other. We're going to try it out this week and see what it looks like when we're done. And we'll see if we use it in the future or not. But it's a new feature. Figured we would try it out. Website's live. Maybe this week I can find some time during the week to kind of go over all the stuff again. Like we did the initial announcement video, and a lot's changed, right? I don't know if it's changed, but there's been a lot of additions
added. Yeah,
a lot of stuff added since that first video. And maybe I'll just break it down by each. I'll do a video maybe for each individual tool, etc. And we're constantly adding tools. We have a new one that should be available this week. And then we're working on another new one. Hopefully it's available next week. So, constantly coming out with new stuff for you guys on the website. If you're interested, go to G5Hive.com. If you go to our X profile, you'll find a promo code where you can get half off your first year subscription. So, yeah. Thanks everyone for the support and feedback we've gotten so far. All the feedback on the website's been really, really positive. And we've gotten a couple suggestions that we've already incorporated in some of the tools. So yeah, cool stuff.
All right. Well, let's get into our G5 Hive Players of the Week for Week 11. My offensive player of the week for Week 11, Tulane quarterback Jake Retzlaff. Jake threw for 332 yards and 3 touchdowns, while adding 43 yards and another touchdown on the ground to lead the Green Wave to a big victory over Memphis. Congratulations, Jake.
My defensive player of the week for Week 11 is Southern Miss cornerback Josh Moten. Josh had 6 tackles, 4 solos, 1 pass defense, and 3 interceptions to lead the Golden Eagles to a big victory over Arkansas State. Congratulations, Josh. My offensive player of the week for Week 11, Hawaii wide receiver Jackson Harris. Jackson caught 7 balls for 130 yards and 3 touchdowns to lead the Rainbow Warriors to a big victory over San Diego State. Congratulations, Jackson.
My defensive player of the week for Week 11, UConn linebacker Brian had 16 tackles, 7 solo, 1.5 tackles for loss, 1 interception, and a sack, strip fumble to lead the Huskies to a big victory over P4 opponent Duke. Congratulations, Byron. The G5 Hive freshman offensive player of the week for Week 11, Georgia State tight end Grant Hollier. Grant caught 3 balls for 58 yards and 1 touchdown in Week 11. Congratulations, Grant.
The G5 Hive freshman defensive player of the week for Week 11, Ohio linebacker Charlie Christopher. Charlie had 12 tackles, 6 solo, half a tackle for a loss, and half a sack to lead the Bobcats to a big victory over the Miami Redhawks. Congratulations, Charlie. And that was really cool because Charlie's somebody we talked about months ago at this point in our Worker Bee series. Charlie Fidel when we previewed the Ohio Bobcats. Charlie Christopher was a freshman. He told us to look out for. Had been making some noise in camp, so it's always kind of cool to kind of see things come full circle with our worker bee series. That's pretty cool.
Now, sometimes I black out when I say things. I'm going back to my defensive player of the week. Did I say Byron? It's Brian.
I don't know.
Brian. I don't know what I said.
It's Brian Parham. Yeah.
I don't know what I said there. So, he crushed it. Part of me feels like shoot another one just so I can clip it better.
Yeah, David agrees with our picks. Thanks, David. It's tough, man. Some weeks there's like a lot of players we could choose from. Some weeks there are more obvious choices. But yeah, thanks for the kudos. We try our best to pick the best players, and sometimes we don't want to pick the same player every single week. So we do try to add a little variety here and there.
All right, well, Justice, let's buckle up and dive right into things. There are so many great G5 games this last week. But first, let's start with what the Swarm needs to know, our news and notes.
So some of these things we'll also talk about during the actual games, but I wanted to mention them here. The first is if you didn't see the Texas State Louisiana game, there was a brawl at the end of the game. Ugly to see that in college football, but it happened. And today the Sun Belt handed down suspensions for quite a few players on both teams. So I'm just going to run those down real quick. So for Texas State, Tamir Jackson has been suspended for 2 games. Probably, in my opinion, the biggest one for Texas State is this next, and that's cornerback Kamari Terrell. He's one of their top cornerbacks. He's been one of the top cornerbacks on all the G5 this year. He's suspended for 1 game. Justin DeLeon 1 game. Kyron Bordeaux 1 game. J.P. Dieter 1 game, and Devarick Woods 1 game. Going over to Louisiana, probably the one with the biggest impact for them is safety Tyree Skipper. And he is gone for the rest of the season, including any potential bowl games. Other players suspended for Louisiana, you got Cortland Flowers, 1 game. Cody Jackson, 1 game. Khalif Edwards, 1 game. Colin Jacob, 1 game. Evan Stroman, 1 game. And D'Antonio LaSure, 1 game. I didn't see it. I've seen the aftermath. I saw a clip, I guess, today with, Coach Des. Louisiana wasn't necessarily happy with how the suspensions were gone. He was like, when someone comes by and punches you in the face, what would the most people's reaction be? That was kind of his point. Or like, if this was started, our guys reacted, and so I don't know. He didn't agree with. I don't think he agreed with the way the suspensions went down. But nonetheless, that's what the Sun Belt did, and the Sun Belt said they're not going to talk about the matter anymore.
Talk about Texas State going out with a bang.
Man, Texas we've talked about it before, even before this year, where there's always been so much love for DJ Kinney in terms of he's going to get a P4 job, and he's never really done anything at the G5 level. The last 2 years, he was expected to have a team that would at least compete for the Sun Belt West, and they have failed miserably, and they really failed miserably this year. The offense looks fine. The defense is not good at all. It just, I don't know. And they're going to the Pac-12, right? So I don't think the Bobcats have anything to worry anytime soon about losing Kinney. You got to assume some of that luster has worn off at this point.
I also have a question about this. So I had messaged you or talked to you about this brawl, and I said it was actually worse, in my opinion, than the Eastern Michigan brawl that happened after the bowl game. What were your thoughts? Was it better?
Yeah. No,
worse?
I think it was worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It was worse. Well, moving on to some other news. Wyoming head coach Jay Sauvel says that starting defensive tackle Jaden Williams has been reinstated after his suspension for violation of team rules for Week 10. Sauvel also touched on tight end John Michael Gillenborg, said he's as healthy as he has been since August. He hasn't really been in the game plan the last 2 weeks because of his uncertain status, but moving forward, they expect Gillenborg to be a big part of the passing offense. So good news for John Michael Gillenborg fans. Let's see, going over injury news. So first, we're going to start off with some guy that's expected to make his return this week, so to speak, and that's Troy quarterback Goose Crowder. So head coach Gerard Parker confirmed that Goose Crowder will make his return to the field this Thursday night against Old Dominion, and he says that both Crowder and Tucker Kilcrease will play. Kind of interesting. I know we speculated maybe Goose would just be done. He's had the last 2 years has been nothing but injuries. He's played. Yep. He comes back, he gets injured. He comes back, he gets injured. And so I think we were just thinking like maybe he's over it. We don't know. But anyway, he's expected to be back for a big matchup this Thursday night, prime time on ESPN. We'll talk more about that later. Navy quarterback Blake Horvath was a surprise out this past week versus Notre Dame. And, you and I talked about it, Luke, right? Like, probably really wasn't a surprise. Like, if you sit down and think about it, the thing that comes to mind is what I heard today out of the Pitt head coach regarding Notre Dame. And I think someone asked him, like, do you really want to win this game? And he was like, no, I could care less about this game. This game basically means nothing because Notre Dame is not in the ACC. For us, all that matters is winning the ACC and getting that automatic bid. It seems like that was probably Navy's take too, right? Like, why get our star quarterback hurt in a game that really doesn't mean anything? We're going to have to win the American and have to have a shot at getting an automatic bid, and we're going to need Blake Horvath to do that.
Especially, Friday night, the cards are essentially laid out on the table that Memphis gets beat, so that American is up for grabs.
So we don't have an update on this, but maybe you know more, Luke, about the Boise State quarterback situation. We know Max Matson's out. That's what we do know. I don't know who came in for him last week or who we expect to start, but we do know Max Matson is out for the foreseeable future for Boise State.
They had a bye this last week, so I don't know who they're going with right now.
Do we know who came in against? I guess that would have been 2 weeks ago now.
Yeah,
I was gonna look it up real quick.
Yeah, I was gonna look it up because I wanted to forget this. So thanks you, Timothy, for making me remember.
Max Cutforth.
Yeah, it was brutal to watch.
Yeah, Max Cutforth was the guy that came in for Maddox in the Fresno State game. You got to assume he's probably likely the one at least to get the first reps this coming week.
It also reminds me, Breezy Dubar mentioned he was going to redshirt, I think, or enter the transfer portal. Maybe that's what it was, not redshirt, but he was going to enter the portal. So,
gotcha. All right, Memphis quarterback Brendan Lewis, who was banged up before the game this week, he did play versus Tulane. I guess he was in and out. So they asked Ryan Silverfield, head coach, about his availability this coming week. And he said he's been tough. He's been battling through it. But again, we've got to decide if it's in his best interest. Once, if he's healthy enough to go, and two, if it's in the best interest of the team to step foot on the field. So sounds like Brendan Lewis is pretty questionable this week again for Memphis. And I think it was AJ Hill came in for him right this past week. Or was it Arrington?
It was Arrington.
So it could be either one, right? AJ Hill or Arrington Maiden. We've seen them both play this year if Brendan Lewis is unable to go. San Jose State quarterback Walker Eggett had to leave the field in Week 11 with a leg ankle injury. He did return, but you could tell it definitely hampered his ability to plant throughout the game. We just learned Louisiana Tech quarterback Blake Baker is out for the season with an ACL tear. That's a big blow to Louisiana Tech. They lost their quarterback of the defense, if you will. I don't know, probably 4 weeks ago at this point, maybe 5 weeks ago, in linebacker Colby Fields, and now they lose their literal quarterback on the offensive side, Blake Baker. So 2 big blows for Louisiana Tech. Southern Miss quarterback Braylon Braxton left the game with a knee injury in the first quarter, but he was able to return, but he definitely looked hampered or hobbled. Tulane linebacker Sam Howard, who was out weeks 8 through 10, but he did play in Week 11. He was re-injured in Week 11, and he could miss some time. Rice running back Dalen Alexander did not play in Week 11. Rice does have a bye this week. Akron quarterback Ben Finley was shaken up briefly versus UMass, but he was able to continue. New Mexico State running back Kadarius Callaway had to leave the Week 11 game versus Kennesaw State with an injury. Jacksonville State wide receiver Brock Rechsteiner was knocked out of the Week 11 game with an upper body injury. Just fun fact, if you don't know, Brock Rechsteiner is the son of wrestling legend, Hall of Famer Scott Steiner, Big Papa Pump. That's Brock Rechsteiner is his son, and I'm pretty sure Brock already has like a WWE deal lined up once he graduates from college. Sam Houston quarterback Hunter Watson had a knee injury that kept him out for Week 11. Ball State running back Quay Ashley had to visit the locker room in Week 11 due to injury. Tulane defensive end Gerard Henderson suffered a significant injury in the first quarter versus Memphis. Liberty running back Caden Williams did not play in Week 11. JMU offensive lineman Joseph Simmons, according to Coach Chesney, should be ready to go this week. And JMU running back Ayo Adeye is still questionable for the Dukes this week.
right.
Anything else you got, Luke?
Yeah, Timothy, for the Boise State news, it actually was mentioned that MACtion's not going to undergo surgery. He's just doing rehab, and they hope to have him back later in the season, but they will not have him this week against San Diego State. They did not say who it would be, but my guess would be cut forth would be my guess. Also, unrelated, but I think we mentioned it a while back ago, but Chris Marshall back with the team this week and had a good week of practice last week. So whatever that means.
Winless teams in the G5, there's only one. To me, it's kind of shocking. We'll talk about later that Sam Houston won the game without Hunter Watson, but Sam Houston beats Oregon State. Sorry, Clint, if you're listening. I know you're a big Oregon State guy. That's kind of that. Yeah, that's bad. Losing to Sam Houston this year is bad because Sam Houston is really bad. So anyway, that leaves one team that has one winless team, I guess I should say. The UMass Minutemen. They're 0-9. They're at home versus Northern Illinois this week. Northern Illinois hasn't played great lately either. Maybe they'll get a win, but I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know about that.
All right. We'll go on over to the G5 and the AP Top 25. JMU makes its debut in the AP Top 25 poll this week, coming in at number 24. And they are joined by South Florida, who's back in the poll for the second time this season. South Florida comes in at number 25. Others receiving votes, you got Tulane at number 26, 83 votes. North Texas, number 28, 55 votes. San Diego State, number 34 with 5 votes. UNLV, number 35 with 2 votes. And Memphis comes in at number 36 with 1 vote. Moving over to our G5 Top 25 poll. We tweeted this out earlier. These are our votes as submitted to the Hero Sports G5 Top 25 Media Consensus Poll. There's, I don't know, 20 or so voters in that poll. We are one of the voters, and what you see on the screen is our votes that we submitted. For those listening in audio form, I'll run them down real quick. At number 1, we got South Florida. Number 2, the Dukes of JMU. Number 3, the Mean Green in North Texas. Number 4, Tulane. Number 5, Memphis. Number 6, East Carolina. 7, Southern Miss. 8, Hawaii. 9, Kennesaw State. 10, San Diego State. 11, Navy. 12, New Mexico. 13, Old Dominion. 14, Connecticut. 15, UNLV. 16, Ohio. 17, Jacksonville State. 18, Fresno State. 19, Boise State. 20, Western Kentucky. 21, Coastal Carolina. 22, Troy. 23, Western Michigan. 24, Utah State. And rounding out our top 25, FBS newcomer in the first time in our poll, the Missouri State Bears. As I mentioned, these are our votes as submitted in the Hero Sports G5 top 25 consensus poll. So I'll just kind of run down some of the biggest differences between our votes and the consensus poll. We'll start off with teams that are not ranked in our top 25, but they were ranked in the consensus top 25, and that was Miami Redhawks came in at number 21 in the consensus poll, and the Toledo Rockets came in at number 24. Obviously, with 2 teams in the consensus poll, not in ours, there's 2 teams in ours, not in the consensus. And the 2 teams that we have ranked that aren't in the consensus poll are number 24 and number 25 teams. That's Utah State and Missouri State. I think Missouri State was like number 26 if you go to the others receiving votes, and Utah State, I think, was like number 28. So some of the biggest this week, there's some big differences. And I think the problem is once you get probably past like week team number 7, like all those teams, like it was very hard to rank them, I guess. I think it was hard for me. It's hard for Luke. I assume it was hard for everyone. And so there's a lot of different, there's some big differences that we have when you get past number 7. So teams that we are lower on, we talked about this team last week, Boise State. We have them at 19. The consensus has them at 11. 8-spot difference. That's the biggest difference for us. And we talked about last week. It's really has to do with MACtion not being available, right? They didn't look good without him. Don't expect that they will look good. And so maybe it's a little projection on our part, so to speak, to have Boise State ranked 19, but that's kind of where we have them. UConn, we have them at 14. The consensus has them at number 10. It's a four spot difference. Yeah, like
now all of a sudden everyone's high on UConn. Get with it, guys. I was there, and then all of a sudden I come back. It's like, okay, and then I don't know.
Yeah, we got some. I don't know. I don't want to say crapped on, but like we got some comments about us being so high on UConn, and now like everyone else is like caught up. They've caught up so much they passed us.
If you want tomorrow's news today, come to the G5 Hive. Boise State will catch up.
Western Kentucky, we have them at 20. The consensus has them at 16, and another 4-spot difference. We talked about this one last week too. They look better with Rodney Tisdale, so we'll see how that goes. If McIver's back this week, or they just continue to roll with Tisdale, because they do. The offense seems to function a lot better with Tisdale than it ever did with McIver, minus those first 2 games of the year. So teams that we are higher than, Hawaii, there's 4 teams that have a 5-spot difference. The first is Hawaii. We have them at number 8. The consensus has them at 13. Kennesaw State, we have them at 9. Consensus has them at 14. New Mexico, we have them at 12. The consensus has them at 17. And Old Dominion, we have them at 13. The consensus has them at 18. I don't know. Like I just feel like like we said, 8 to probably 16, you could kind of flip the order if you want, so to speak. And you can make an argument for any of those teams to be in any, I think, almost any order you like. It's really more personal preference.
I think if I had to bucket them, I think like the 1 through 4, like on any given day, one could beat the other. Maybe even the 1 through 5.
Yeah,
1 through 7. And then really like 11 or 12 through 17, I feel like could go anyway. And then it's probably 18, 19, and then it's like 20 through the rest of them. It's like any given Saturday.
Yeah.
Or Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday or Friday, whatever, day that they're playing.
Yeah, I agree. We got some big matchups this week. At least in our poll, number 13, Old Dominion plays number 22, Troy. Coastal and JMU will have a game coming up here soon. So yeah, lots of big matchups as we get close to the end of the season. Kind of see what happens. Yeah.
All right.
You ready to get started?
Let's do it. All right. We're going to do our Pac-12 and UConn section. And our Week 11 games in review are Sam Houston versus Oregon State game. That's going to be in our Conference USA preview. When we do our Week 12 previews, our Saturday games, Oregon State at Tulsa, will be covered in the American preview. And then the Louisiana Tech at Washington State will be covered in CUSA. So let's head on over to UConn and look at Week 11 in review. We had an exciting game. This lived up to my expectations. I don't know if it is everybody had this expectation. Maybe it was just me. Maybe it was just me and Justice. Not sure. But Duke looked good out the start. UConn looked like it may be in for a long day. The first half was fun, but the second half was an offensive explosion. Duke would open the second half with a touchdown. UConn would respond with a field goal to go up 23-21. UConn trailed in the fourth and would run a fake punt on 4th and 9 from their own 34. Cam Edwards would then run it in, but they could not convert the 2-point conversion, and it was 29-28 UConn. Duke would respond with a touchdown of their own to go up 34-29. UConn had the ball at the Duke 40 on 3rd and 14 with 3:14 left. Fagano would find Juice Farine, who's been tearing it up lately, for 9 yards. On 4th and 5, they would connect again, this time for 12 yards. And on the very next play was a Bell touchdown from 19 yards out. That was Skylar Bell's second on the day. Watching this game, there was two things that it made me think of. One was a few years back when it was like St. Louis or the Los Angeles Rams versus the Chiefs. When it was like those two offensive juggernauts going after, and it was just so much fun to watch. That's what this second half reminded me of. And then just the connection that Skylar Bell and Joe Fagano have just reminds me of like Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow when they're at LSU. Just like they just seem to know where everyone's going to be at the same time. It's just a great connection out there. It was fun to watch. Anyways, Duke would be driving as time is running out. It was 2nd and 10 from the UConn 39. They're down 3. And then my defensive player of the week, Brian Parham, sack, strip, Darian Mensah for a 19-yard loss. UConn would recover with 18 seconds left in the game. UConn wins this one 37-34. Every possession would end in a score except the last possession in the second half. So I should say every possession in the second half would end in a score except for that last possession. It was fun. It was fun. So
I would say Joe Fagnano, underrated, the year he's having 25 touchdowns, no interceptions. That's a pretty awesome number. I mean, Mensa, I think the I forget what the combined was, but it was like 40-some touchdowns, and like I think Mensa's thrown maybe 2 interceptions between the 2 quarterbacks, but still both of them pretty phenomenal numbers. But yeah, Joe Fagnano, what a season he is having for the UConn Huskies. Not many people have been talking about it, but man, it's been pretty incredible.
I do want to remind you, Justice, back in the day, not back in the day, but back in the preseason, we had somebody on from Hero Sports, Colton, and
Yeah.
I brought up UConn. I was high on UConn. I mean, I threw it out there, but I mean, I was like, this season has even exceeded my expectations of UConn this year.
Yeah, the problem with UConn is like in terms of like college football playoffs is they'd have to get ranked really, really high because they're not a conference. They can't be a conference champion. And so that kind of that really makes it extremely difficult for them to make the college football playoffs. But nonetheless, they are having a phenomenal season.
So I don't think we talked about it last week, but I do want to talk about this week. UConn is bowl eligible. I think I missed them last week in all this shuffling of how we're doing the show. So they are bowl eligible. I'm not so sure Washington State and Oregon State will join them, but we'll see.
Yep.
All right. Our Week 12 preview game is Air Force at UConn. So that's going to get covered in the Mountain West preview. So if you want to hear the UConn Air Force, that will be then. So let's get right into our Conference USA, our Week 11 review. Saturday games. We had Missouri State at Liberty. The first half, it would be 10-0 Liberty. Third quarter would feature 6 possessions and 5 punts. However, Missouri State would be able to score on a 28-yard pass from Jacob Clark to Jamari Robinson as the Bears would cut the lead to 3. But then the fourth quarter had some fireworks. There were 7 possessions and 3 scoring drives. At this point, there had only been 3 scoring drives in the entire game. So while I'll say 3 isn't a lot, it was a lot for this game. Grading on a curve here. Missouri State would score a touchdown to take a 4-point lead, but Ethan Vasco would respond with a 3-yard touchdown run of his own and put the Flames back up 17-14 with 8:10 to go. Missouri State would get the ball back later in the quarter with 1:21 left. Who do you lean on in this situation? It's got to be your leader of this team, Jacob Clark. He was 4 of 4 with a 22, 20, and 15-yard pass, and he caps off the drive with a 13-yard touchdown pass to Tristan Gardner to take a 21-17 lead with 27 seconds left. Missouri State wins 21-17.
Great first year in the FBS and Conference USA for both Missouri State and Delaware. I think they both have exceeded my expectations for them this year. I thought they would be competitive. I thought both, like from an offensive standpoint, I was more concerned about the defense. But man, they've both exceeded my expectations for sure.
You just teed it up great. Actually, yes, that's the right. Teed it up great for this one. Louisiana Tech at Delaware. Let's jump right to the fourth quarter. It's 17-16 Louisiana Tech after a Clay Tevin. Is that how you say it?
Yep.
Tevin scored a touchdown. Great audio here. He scores a touchdown with 3:32 left to go in the game. Delaware would go for it on 4th and 10 at their own 30. Nick Mitakuchi would throw a pick 6. This practically seals the game. It's 24-16. There's 2:34 left. But as we've seen, Delaware's offense can be explosive. They would march down the field, and Nick Mitakuchi would find Elijah Sessoms for a 3-yard touchdown pass. They would fail the 2-point try as Delaware's now down 24-22. Like I said, you got to kick it. You got to tee it up. You tee it up great. They try the onside kick, and they get it. Then Nate Reed hits a 51-yard field goal to win it for the Fighting Blue Hens, 25-24.
That's pretty cool to see. I think Reed missed a game-winning field goal. I don't know, maybe,
in the season.
Yeah, like 2-3 weeks ago. So cool to see him get some redemption, if you will.
And then we've got Florida International, Middle Tennessee. I'm always interested to see what FIU team shows up. Joe Pisanski is going to get the start for FIU. I don't have very high hopes. It's a back and forth contest through three quarters. It's 34-24 FIU after three. Didn't see that one coming. Then at the end of the third, Middle Tennessee would try a fake punt at their own 29-yard, which was unsuccessful. FIU got 3 to start the fourth. So pretty down, not getting a touchdown kind of sucks there. But anyways, Middle Tennessee proceeds to throw an INT, and FIU would turn that into 6 as they would fail to get the 2-point try. Then Middle Tennessee turns the ball over on downs, and FIU scores 6 again. Doesn't get the 2-point conversion again. It's now 49-24 with 11:16 to go in the game, and FIU touchdown with 9:15 left seals the deal as they go up 56-24 and win it by the score of 56-30. Joe Pisanski had himself a day as he accounted for 5 touchdowns on the day. Not on my bingo card.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you told me Joe Pisanski was starting, I'd be like, oh, this is going to be an ugly, ugly game. Be interesting to see if there's a quarterback controversy brewing there for FIU. Who knows? Kewan Jenkins has been their starter all year. He's had an up and down season, just kind of like FIU has. So be interesting to see what happens moving forward. And right. Derek Mason did not get fired yet. But that just feels like, that's going to happen any day now.
All right, Jacksonville State at UTEP. Let's skip right to the action in the fourth quarter when Skylar Locklear found Eric Williams a third for a 19-yard touchdown to tie the game at 27 apiece with 2:15 left in the game. And then Garrison Ripa would hit a 45-yard field goal with 1:26 left to put the Gamecocks up 3, 30-27. That's going to be the final. I think this game honestly came down to one big play for me. Caleb Nix picked off Locklear and returned it 93 yards to the house in the second quarter. It was 10-7 Jacksonville State. UTEP driving. They're about to score. It could be 14-10. It could be 10-10. Instead, that pick six makes it 17-7. Like I said, it came down to a last-second field goal. That was like just a pivotal part of that game.
Yeah, UTEP has, I don't know, I'm surprised that the game was as close as it was, right? I would thought Jacksonville State would have beat them more handily.
So this marks the second game. Like, I don't know if this makes sense, but like watching Jacksonville State run the ball, their numbers are huge. Like they're just crushing it on running the ball, but it doesn't feel that way. When I watch them, it doesn't look like they're crushing it. It's like, oh, they had a big run or two in the fourth quarter that got them there. Like there's just this disconnect between like what the box score looks like and then what it feels like in the game, if that makes sense.
Sure.
And it's been like the last 2 weeks. I just don't know if something's going on with that offensive line or what. Just, I don't know. Something seems off. All right. Kennesaw State versus New Mexico State. This is a wild game. So we had a big first quarter for Kennesaw State. They're up 17-0 after one and led 24-7 at the half. Let's move to the fourth quarter. Logan Fife had just connected with Devon Fappel for a 2-yard touchdown, and it was his third touchdown in the last 4 games to cut the lead to 10. It's 24-14 in favor of the Owls. An Owls 3-and-out, and New Mexico State touchdown would make it a 3-point game with 5:28 left. The next play for the Owls is an INT. New Mexico State is about to come all the way back and take it over as they take over on their own 40-yard line. New Mexico moves the ball down the field, but Fife is intercepted at the Kennesaw State 35-yard line. And it looks like the Owls will escape, or will they? They have to put it back to the Aggies, who take over with 1:51 left in the game. They get 3 big chunk plays. Ryan Hawk gets set up for a 50-yard field goal and misses it. The Owls do hang on to win this. The Owls only had 91 yards in the second half, 0 points, 4 punts, and 2 interceptions. It was just like you watch it, and it was one of those games that I watched at the beginning. I was like, oh, boy, like this is
that's
going to
be
get out of
ugly.
hand. And then I look at halftime. I'm like, all right, you're not really putting up any points. And then I check back later. I'm like, oh, okay, we have ourselves a game. And then I watched, a majority of that second half. I was just like,
Yeah, reminds me of a lot of JMU games, like where there's so many second half adjustments by JMU where the opponent can't do anything and the JMU offense goes nuts. It's kind of sounds like what happened here, right? The New Mexico State defense kind of shuts Kennesaw State down, and Mexico State offense goes to their version of going nuts. Can't quite get it done, but yeah.
I'm excited about Odom as he progresses. Like, he's going to be fun to watch. All right. Sam Houston, Oregon State. All right. I mean, I don't even know how to go about this. Like, what I didn't have on my bingo card was this game. Sam Houston had 8 first downs and was outgained 474 yards to 151 in total yards. Special teams is the difference. Sam Houston took the opening kickoff of the second half back for a touchdown to make it 17-14 in favor of Oregon State. Then a blocked punt by Brody Henderson would return for a touchdown, and the Bearcats are up 21-17. Oregon State would go for it on 4th and 3 from the Sam Houston 10 with just 4 minutes left, but they would not be able to convert. Then it was just a game of hot potato as the drives would go. Sam Houston punt, Oregon State interception, Sam Houston interception, Oregon State turnover on downs. It's Sam Houston's first win of the season. Like I said, that one,
ugly.
Yeah.
Like, how do you lose a game when you outgain a team like, 4-1, 3-1? Like, that's just like, oh my God, that's so bad, so bad. Sorry, Clint, if you're listening or watching. Man, like, hopefully better days are ahead for the Beavers.
All right, bowl eligibility for CUSA. You changed my graphic, Justice.
I put an asterisk.
So we got Jacksonville State and Missouri State get added to the list. We already had Kennesaw State and Western Kentucky. If you're looking at the graphics right now, Justice has an asterisk by the Missouri State. I had a transparency where you could kind of see them. It was like they were like a ghost of their logo because they can't actually make it.
Well, they can, but it's not likely.
Unless there are not enough 6-win teams, then they can be invited. So
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I expect there to be a plethora of 6-win teams this year. Probably more 6-win teams than there are bowl spots. So I doubt that we see Missouri State or Delaware, if they become eligible, actually get a spot because it's their first year in transition to the FBS. Kind of sucked. We talked about it last week. Like, they need to get rid of when that rule was written. I think someone said like the cost to move up to FBS was like $5,000. And the concern and the reason why the rule came about was the concern was that when teams knew they were going to have a good year, they would pay the $5,000 and move up just to drop back down the following year. But it's not $5,000 anymore. It's $5 million. So no one's playing the game of moving up and dropping down on a year-to-year basis based on a good or bad roster. So I don't know. I think if you play a full FBS schedule, you play a full conference schedule, you should be bowl eligible year one. Hopefully the NCAA will change that at some point in the future.
all right. Well, let's take a look at our Week 12 preview. All Saturday games. We've got UTEP at Missouri State, 3 p.m. Eastern kickoff. Missouri State favored by 4.5, over under set 49.5. By the way both teams are playing, I think I would take the over 49.5.
Yeah, I agree. UTEP offense is playing a lot better with Skylar Locklear. They got a couple of good young wide receivers there, and Wadami Davis. Kenny Odom's been kind of their go-to guy, and Jacob Clark, man, Shamari Lawrence for the Bears, but Jacob Clark has been as advertised for Missouri State in their first year. And I think the defense for Missouri State's played better, at least better than I expected in year one in the FBS. I think it's going to be a fun game, competitive game. On paper, people might say, "Oh, this is not a game I want to watch." But I think at the end of the day, you're going to look back and say it could be somewhat of an offensive explosion, exciting game, and definitely one to tune into on Sunday. I almost want to take UTEP getting the 4.5 points, but I think the smart play is to take the over 49.5.
All right, let's move to Middle Tennessee at Western Kentucky, 3:30 p.m. Eastern. We've got Western Kentucky favored by 13.5, over under set at 55.5. 13.5, a big number, but I think
if Tisdale's the starter, I like it.
Yeah, I think I'm going to I think I would lay the points with Western Kentucky, but I don't feel great about it.
Yeah. I don't know what, I mean, Middle Tennessee
can get out of their own way right now.
They got Jaquel Middlebrook, and Jaquel Middlebrook is good. He is really good. We talk about it every week. Like, they just need to get the ball in his hands every play. Like, whether they're going to throw the ball to him, run it, he's going to run it, whatever. He is like clearly the best player on their offense. Nick Vadiata had a rough week last week. You got to imagine they're going to stick with them. But I don't know. I know this, you think about this in NFL, right? Like, will the head coach play the rookie just to kind of try and save his job? I think for Mason, I think it's like, Vadiato gives him the best shot to win, but would he make a change to like a Roman Gagliano? Just for
he did get some playing time last week,
right? So I was wondering, like, do you think they'll make a change? I don't know. I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
I think Derek Mason's a dead man walking, so to speak. He's going to be gone at some point. My guess is they're waiting to the end of the year, unless they're like, I don't know their financial situation. Maybe the financial situation is not bad. They can't afford a buyout. I don't really know, but yeah, I fully expect Derek Mason to not be the coach of the Blue Raiders heading into 2026. So yeah, give me Western Kentucky laying the 13.5 points.
All right, and then we've got a G5 versus P4 game here. New Mexico State at Tennessee. I have number 21 here. ESPN says 25, but I know that's not true with JMU and
yeah, that's not
USF,
right.
So I have no idea where they got that.
Well, that might be. You know what that might be? That might be the college football playoff ranking from which would have been from last week, right? Because
Gotcha.
I don't think the new show doesn't come out until Tuesday night. That's probably what that is.
Anyways, New Mexico State at number 21, Tennessee. This one over under set at 61.5. Tennessee favored by 40.5. 40.5. Big number.
It is, but I mean, if you had to bet something, that's what I'm going to take. But I think I don't know. Like, I always avoid games like this because you don't know. Like, Tennessee could take their starters out at halftime and rest them for the rest of SEC play.
I do feel comfortable saying though, New Mexico State will not win this one.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Liberty at FIU, 5 p.m. Eastern. Liberty favored by 2.5, over under set at 52.5. This is the week. I never know what to do with FIU, but I'm going to say I'm going to take FIU in the points at home and dogs by 2.5 points. Give me FIU and the points.
I think I'm going to be opposite. I think I'd take Liberty. Liberty laying the 2.5.
You think they've got that run game figured out?
I think with Evan Dickens, man, like they need to feed Evan Dickens. He's had 2 great weeks in a row.
They are typically a really good running team. They just haven't really figured it out this year, and with the exception
until recently,
the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, so I think Evan Dickens will have another big game for the Flames and lead them to victory.
All right. Then a game that I'm kind of excited about. Low-key, really excited. Delaware at Sam Houston. 7 p.m. Eastern. Delaware is looking to become bowl eligible. let's see here. Delaware favored by 9.5 points. Over under set at 56.5. I am tempted to take Sam Houston and the points. And let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. Delaware and Sam Houston are the number 2 and number 3 worst teams in the nation in terms of letting the rush defenses and just what opposing running backs can do. So if Sam Houston can control the ball a little bit and get some explosive plays from Elijah Green, let's see if Hunter Watson plays in this one. I think Sam Houston could be kind of sneaky in covering the points. I don't think they win. But then I also can see Nick Mutakuchi running the ball a lot. And I think this one actually, I guess if you want to do one, take over 56.5. I think this has a sneaky game to have a lot of points.
I think Delaware's going to score a lot of points. I think the Delaware offense, Nick Minicucci, Jonathan Silver, Kyrie Duplessis, I think they're going to have a field day on Saturday. They're going to have huge games, and I think Delaware is going to blow out Sam Houston. So if I'm betting, I'm taking Delaware laying the 9.5.
All right, Kennesaw State at Jacksonville State. People in the chat, they want this one.
This is a big one. Two undefeated teams in conference play. 2 undefeated conference teams.
8 p.m. Eastern. Kennesaw State favored on the road by 2.5. Over under set at 53.5. I like Kennesaw State. I just like how they've been playing this year. I like how they've been playing, so I'm going to lay the 2.5 with them on the road.
Yeah, it's I don't know that I really. For me, I think this is more of a. I want to watch this game. I think it's going to be a good game.
Yep.
The loser is probably. He's not eliminated, but they have a harder road to make it to the Conference USA Championship game. The winner, you would think, is like almost assuredly there. You got both Kennesaw State and Jacksonville State at 5-0. You got Liberty at 5. Not Liberty. Western Kentucky at 5-1. And so figure like it's the winner of this game versus Western Kentucky. It's kind of who you think it's going to be in the Conference USA Championship. I mean, if I had to pick a winner in this game, I think I agree with you. I think I lean Kennesaw State and laying the 2.5 points. But I just think it's going to be a good football game. Two fairly evenly matched teams. Excited to see what Amari Odom and Gabe Binyard can do. And then you got the Caden Creel and the Cam Cook show. Cam Cook, one of the top running backs in all of college football, much less the G5. Expected a good offensive showing from all parties in this one.
All right. Then we're going to get into our Louisiana Tech Washington State game, 10 p.m. Eastern. Louisiana Tech looking to become bowl eligible in this one. It is on the CW, so you know it's going to get wacky. That's for sure. Washington State favored by 8.5, over under set at 44.5. I'm tempted to take the under, given the Baker news no longer being quarterback. If you want to take the under, if you want to take the Washington State 8.5, I feel pretty good about, either. I think I probably feel better about laying the points with Washington State than I do taking the under, but if you want to take either, I think that would be fine.
Yeah, I think I would take the under. I think this is an ugly game. I think with no Blake Baker, that Louisiana Tech offense could sputter. He was the one guy that seemed, or the one quarterback option this year that seemed to be able to get that offense going. And Washington State, I feel like's been ugly from an offensive standpoint all season long. So I just think this is going to be a rock fight game. And from a betting perspective, I'd probably something that I would avoid altogether.
All right, you want to talk about ugly. Justice, let's talk about the American Conference Week 11 in review and that Thursday night game, UTSA versus Florida. This one was all USF from the start. First offensive play for UTSA after getting the opening kickoff was an interception returned for a touchdown. Then they move the ball down the field, but a sack fumble that gets returned for 6. Just kind of a wild play. I don't know, maybe it could have been an interception instead of a fumble. I don't know, because I don't think the ball ever hit the ground. Then Byron Brown didn't even attempt his first pass attempt until the 13:46 mark of the second quarter. South Florida had 5 offensive possessions in the first half and scored on each one. They were all touchdowns except for the last one that was a field goal. I'm pretty sure they just said, hey, we got to have some sort of special teams play. Let's kick a field goal here and go into half, with some special team notes. They had 2 defensive touchdowns, and it was 45-10 South Florida at half. The starters were pulled after 3 quarters, and the Bulls roll in this one 55-23. Byron Brown was 14 of 15 for 239 yards and 2 touchdowns, adding 109 yards and 1 touchdown on the ground. He is the first quarterback in FBS or NFL in over 30 years to record 200-plus passing yards, 80-plus rushing yards, and a touchdown in 5 straight games. I just thought that was an interesting fact. So,
Yeah, and Alex Golich, hot name in the P4 for all these vacancies that we're seeing, and you got to imagine, like, if Golich goes, he's probably taking Byron Brown with him.
You would think.
So, yeah, great season by USF. UTSA, man, like, I'm not surprised by, like, the defense being bad. Like, we expected that, but, like, here, we thought the offense, we saw the offense play phenomenal a week ago against Tulane, and then they go back to the dud that we've seen all year from that UTSA offense, just not living up to expectations. In the American, we thought they would be a high flying, high powered offense, and they weren't early on. It was all the Robert Henry show, and now teams are stopping Robert Henry, and they can't for whatever reason, they can't seem to get this passing game going, with the exception of the Tulane game last week. It's just really weird.
Well, you want to talk about Tulane? Friday, we had Tulane at number 22, Memphis. Memphis was awful on defense in the first half. Jake Retzlaff went 14 of 15 for 248 and 3 touchdowns before the first half was even over. Brandon Lewis started for Memphis, and he played through an ankle injury. He would not be able to finish this game. Lewis was sacked 6 times and didn't have his usual mobility because of the injury. I do want to note that he had a career-high 317 yards before exiting the game in the fourth quarter. The Tigers rushed for 122 non-sack yards. But when you factor in those sack yards, it comes down to 67. Memphis never got into a rhythm in the running game due to the score. It was 35-17 after the first half and 38-17 after 3 quarters. I want to point out the 3 points scored in the third quarter. That was Memphis defense really had stepped up after a bad first half. Memphis is on a drive at the end of the third quarter that bleeds into the fourth quarter, nearly 7-minute drive that ended in a Frank Peasant 1-yard touchdown run and a 2-point conversion cut the lead to 38-25. Then a quick 3-and-out for Tulane and a 6-minute drive for Memphis that ended in another touchdown and an extra point would bring the Tigers within 6 points. Disaster for Tulane as they start their drive with 7:49 left. A false start followed by a 1-yard run and 2 incompletions forces Tulane to punt the ball back to Memphis with about 7 minutes to go. Lewis would get sacked on the first play and then throw an interception on the very next play. Again, penalties would haunt Tulane as they were called for holding on the second play of the drive. That put Tulane in a tough spot at 2nd and 17. 2 incompletions would save time for Memphis as they would get the ball back with 4:59 left. However, Arrington Maiden is now in for Memphis, and Memphis is called for holding that sets Maiden and the Tigers up for a 1st and 20. However, Maiden made some nice throws and to move the Tigers down the field. It's now 4th and 3 from the Tulane 20 with 2 minutes to go. Memphis is down 38-32. Coming out of the 2-minute break, Memphis has a false start to make it 4th and 8. Then Maiden threw this nice ball to Barham, and it just seemed like he got his head turned around because it was on the outside. They're going down. It's on the left-hand side. Threw the ball on the outside, and it seemed like he kind of looked for the ball to be on the inside and then had to move his head out there. Went off of his fingertips, and Tulane would hold on to win by the final score of 38-32. To get that far into the game for Lewis and not be able to finish the last drive, like he must have been just in a world of hurt. And I think it would be hard to imagine that he's back this week, in my opinion.
The one thing, like, and this is just more of a general observation, like I saw that 4th down play, and like you see it happen so often. I see Old Dominion do it a lot too. It's 4th and short, and they throw a bomb. And like as a fan, you're like, oh my God, like that's not what we need. Like that's not a high percentage play. When you're 4th and short, you want to see a high percentage play.
Especially with a young quarterback who's been cold all game. Like, and that's what you do. Yeah. But like the throw was actually pretty good. Like that was a pretty damn good throw.
Close to the wrong. Well, one of them, either the receiver or the quarterback, somebody was thinking the wrong shoulder. But man, like you just spend, like you said, especially like a young quarterback, you would like to see like a much easier throw on a big play like that on 4th down. And it wasn't like it was, the time was running out. Like they had the time where, to complete a 1st down. Yeah, obviously on your understanding that there's, seconds left in the game, you got to throw the bomb, but like that just wasn't the case. And I don't know. I don't understand why teams do it. My guess is that they're trying to play the odds of the defense. Think that that's what's going to happen. That they're only going short. They won't cover as well deep, I guess, is what the head coaches are thinking. But man, like I feel like as a fan, it's super frustrating when that does happen.
All right, let's move to our Saturday games. We have Temple at Army. This game was about time of possession. Army held the ball for nearly 40 minutes. I don't know if you know this, but a game's about 60 minutes. Army had double-digit plays on 4 of their 6 possessions. That's right, 6 possessions. Usually there's like 15 or so in a game that each team gets. 6. It's 6 possessions. Army would be up 14-13 with 11-16 left in the game. Temple would go 3 and out, punt it back to Army, but they would not see the ball again as Army held the ball for 9 minutes and 53 seconds. Helms could have ran it in at one point for like a 7-8 point lead, depending, if you hit the field goal or if you hit the extra point or not, would still give Temple a chance. So he slid. They ran out the clock. They win this one 14-13. This one I started watching in the first quarter. I went to the refrigerator to get a drink, came back, and it was over. Like this game went fast. This was a fast-moving game. UAB at Rice. It's 17-14 UAB at the half. Rice had a fumble and a turnover on downs that led to 14 UAB points. Rice would get the ball to start the second half. They'd score a touchdown. UAB would have a turnover on downs on their of their own that led to 3 points for Rice. After 3 quarters, it was 24-17 in favor of Rice. In the fourth quarter, Rice struggled to move the ball as they were only able to muster up 17 yards on 4 possessions, and they had 3 and-outs. However, UAB would turn the ball over on downs twice, and the Owls hold on for a 24-17 win. Charlotte, ECU. ECU would have a big first quarter. Offense had 2 touchdowns while the defense held Charlotte to 2 yards. 2 yards in the first quarter. Oof. Only blemish for the Pirates was in the first. They had a turnover on downs, but don't worry because the very next plays, Timer Brown would intercept Grayson Loffeless and take it to the house. ECU up 21-0 after 1. They would cruise in this one as they led wire to wire the final 48-22.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this game last week. It was going to be an offensive explosion for ECU and not so much for Charlotte. Charlotte they're not a good team. Not a good team.
All right, Tulsa at FAU. Tulsa would throw 2 interceptions. They would have a fumble return for a 95-yard touchdown and 2 turnover on downs. Both happened to be at the FAU 33. That was all in the first half. After the first half, it was 31-6 FAU. That was kind of surprising, nonetheless. Tulsa's offense would start executing better here in the second half. They would cut the lead to 13 after a Seth Morgan connected on a 22-yard field goal, but FAU's Easton Messer would get his 3rd touchdown of the day on the following drive and put a stop to any type of comeback Tulsa thought they were trying to mount. FAU wins this one by the final 40-21.
Zion Booker, I didn't mention it in the injury news, but he was kind of a surprise out for Tulsa. He's their number 1 go-to wide receiver, so that certainly hurt him not being available. And then Easton Messer, I don't think he's had any touchdowns up to this point, right?
I think you're right.
Or maybe like one.
Maybe one.
And then he has an explosion here in week 11. Would have liked to see Zion Booker play. Maybe the game would have been a little more competitive as we expected it to be, but FAU's got that high flying offense.
All right, Navy at number 10 Notre Dame in a G5 versus P4 contest. Like Justice said earlier, no Blake Horvath in this one, and again, reiterate it. Kind of feel like this was more of an American Conference play than an injury play. Notre Dame doesn't play in the American. It's not going to help us win. We saw Memphis just lose. So maybe that all plays into it. Anyways, the first half was competitive, but you could really feel things go downhill when Notre Dame scored a touchdown to go up 14-7, followed by a Navy 3-and-out, and then Notre Dame scored another touchdown to put them up 21-7. Then it was just like, okay, wheels are falling off. It would be 21-10 at the half, but Navy would be held to 50 yards in the entire second half. Notre Dame cruises 49-10. Well, let's get to our bowl eligibility for the American. You see all those teams there. We've got Tulane, we've got Memphis, North Texas, South Florida, Navy, and the new team with their big win over Charlotte is ECU. Our Week 12 previews Saturday games, we've got UTSA at Charlotte, 12 p.m. Eastern. UTSA favored by 18.5, over under set at 59.5. I do not want to touch this game. I would think that I would lay the points with UTSA, but this offense has not been what we thought it has been. But I think Charlotte is just that bad that UTSA might look really, really good. I don't know. I'm not going to touch it, but
I think I mean, like I feel better about taking UTSA and laying the 18.5 than I would taking like the over 59.5, because that's going to require some help for Charlotte in terms of scoring. I mean, this will be a good game for the UTSA offense. I think. Maybe they can use this game to get the offense back to what we saw in the Tulane game, get to 5 wins, and get within 1 win of bowl eligibility for the Roadrunners. Owen McCown, Devin McEwen, David Amador, all could have a big day against the 49ers.
All right. The big game here. Number 25, South Florida at Navy, 12 p.m. Eastern kickoff. For everyone, except for those who have YouTube TV, this is going to be on ESPN too. So everyone else can watch it, but you, YouTube TV watchers, I'm pretty sure you still don't have ESPN. Anyways, this one is South Florida favored by 10.5, over under set at 65.5. Give me the over.
You like the over? I don't know. Like I just feel like that's a lot of points for a team that like Navy wants to limit possessions. I feel better about Florida laying 10.5.
South Florida can get 65.5 in 2 minutes.
Well, they can, but the problem is, you're obviously Navy's likely to win the time of possession. You got to assume, like you said, Blake Horvath is back. That he was just being held out last week because in the big scheme of things, that game didn't really mean much.
I have a feeling Navy is going to be like, it's going to be 3rd and 4, and they're going to get 4 yards. It's going to be 3rd and 6, and they're going to get 6 yards. Like no one is going to go over what they need to get, and they're going to just try to eat up as much yards time as they can.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously with the explosive offense of South Florida, you want to limit their possessions too. But I think the South Florida team, both the offense and defense, is too good. I like South Florida laying the 10.5 points. I personally think South Florida is the best team in the G5. And I assume you do too, Luke. We both had them at number 1 this week in our poll. But yeah, I think I like South Florida.
All right, and then we've got Oregon State at Tulsa, 1 p.m. Eastern kickoff. Oregon State favored by 1.5. Over under set at 48.5. Give me laying the points with Oregon State. Anthony Hankerson, I think they're just going to lean on him, and how Anthony Hankerson goes, so goes the Beavers. But I think they win this one.
I don't know. I think I'm going to take Tulsa at home, man, to get the win. Getting 1.5 points. I mean, I think Anthony Hankerson is going to have a big game, but I think Tulsa is going to actually win the game. I think their offense is going to get going. Hopefully, Zion Booker's back. If Zion Booker's not back, maybe I would agree that I don't know. Oregon State might win, but give me the Golden Hurricane at home to get a win over Oregon State. Both these teams only have 2 wins. Someone's going to walk away with their 3rd of the year, but I think it's going to be Tulsa.
All right, North Texas at UAB, 2 p.m. Eastern kickoff. North Texas favored by 18.5. Over under set at 69.5. I'm going to lay the points with North Texas. I think they beat the brakes off of UAB in this one.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I don't know that we can see this game go any direction, right? We can see Drew Mestermaker have a field day. We can see him just say, "Hey, Drew, take a back seat, buddy. We're going to let Caleb Hawkins in the running game do the work today." I think it wouldn't shock me either way. 2 weeks ago, we saw Drew Mestermaker throw for 607 yards. And
608. Don't cut the guy short.
And then the following week, we see, Caleb Hawkins go absolutely nuts. I think with 175 yards rushing. So they can beat you in a myriad of ways. It'll be interesting to see what they choose to do this week. Because I think either way they go, it's going to be lots of points for the Mean Green against the Blazers. So yeah, I agree with you. Give me North Texas laying the 18.5 points. All
right, a fun one. Memphis at ECU, 4 p.m. Eastern kickoff. ECU favored by 2.5 points. Over under set at 59.5. That line makes me think that Brendan Lewis isn't going to play in this one.
Absolutely.
Again, he was unable to finish that game. And again, probably going to be really hurt to not finish out that game given the circumstances and what was on the line. So I'm going to take ECU in this one.
Yeah, I agree. I think that line tells you that. And even if, let's say, Brendan Lewis does play, he's obviously hobbled. And that East Carolina defense has played really, really good all year. That hasn't been the problem for ECU when they played some of the better teams. The problem has been the offense stepping up. But yeah, I think I'm going to assume no Brendan Lewis or a very hobbled Brendan Lewis. So I agree with you. Give me East Carolina at home, laying the 2.5 points.
All right, and then to round out the American games, we've got Florida Atlantic at Tulane, 4 p.m. Eastern. Tulane favored by 17.5. Over under set at 63.5. I'm going to lay the points with Tulane. Again, this team has been kind of up and down lately.
Yeah, it's which Tulane team's going to show up? The one that looked terrible against UTSA 2 weeks ago, or the one that just beat Memphis, right?
But Florida Atlantic just hasn't been very good all year. I expect Tulane to ride the momentum from last week into this week, and Tulane rolls.
Yeah, I mean, from a betting perspective, I think I just avoid this game just because It's hard to get a read on Tulane. Like 1 week, Retzlaff plays really good, like he did last week. 2 weeks ago, he looked god awful, and so obviously they're gonna kind of go as he goes. In theory, it should be a good week for him, right? The FAU defense is not very good. They do have a high-powered offense, but I think the Tulane defense can do enough to slow him down. I think Tulane wins the game, but from a betting perspective, I think I would avoid it altogether.
All right, let's head over to the Sun Belt Conference. All right, week 11 in review. We had our Thursday game, Georgia Southern at App State. This one was all Georgia Southern until about the halfway point in the third quarter. At this point, it's 22-3 Georgia Southern. Then AJ Swan started to catch fire, and the defense started stepping up. With about 5 minutes in the third, he found tight end David Larkins for a 1-yard touchdown, but they failed the 2-point conversion, so it's 22-9. Then App State's defense forced Georgia Southern to punt. App State would score another touchdown. This time it was a 27-yard Jakari Lewis touchdown run. Now App State has cut the lead to 6, and the momentum is on their side at home. Georgia Southern would have to settle for a field goal on 4th and 2 at the App State 7. I honestly thought they were going to, might just go for it at that point. But I don't know. Things got a little tight, and they decided to kick the ball. Now, App State's down 9, and the story of the year for A.J. Swan has been his turnovers. He threw an INT on 1st and 10 at the Georgia Southern 23-yard line. Just a killer. However, App State's defense would force a 3-and-out. App State got the ball with 5:11 left, down 9. Swan would find the man of the night, Jaden Barnes, for a 16-yard touchdown. Barnes had 13 receptions on 19 targets for 160 yards and 1 touchdown. What struck me as odd was that App State had all of their timeouts. They're going to kick off to Georgia Southern. They're down 2. They decide to go for an onside kick. Like, their defense has been stepping up. Honestly, like, how App State was playing in that moment, you could have gone 99 yards in 59 seconds. Like, that wouldn't have surprised me. But they go for an onside kick, and it was a good onside kick, but Georgia Southern recovered it. It was right up the middle. Georgia Southern guy hit it with, I think, his right hand, kind of popped up. Another guy grabbed it, but like, it was a good onside kick. Good try. But I just thought they were going to kick it deep. Defense playing well. They would have good field possession. However, with Barnes and Swan, they're just connecting. I figured they could have scored a touchdown within seconds. Like I said, go 99 yards in 59 seconds would not have surprised me. Which is, again, why I was kind of puzzling for the onside kick. But Georgia Southern was able to get some first downs on the ground. They would run the ball 7 straight times to end the game. Georgia Southern escapes with a 25-23 win.
It's interesting, like Jaden Barnes. I think you can look at Jaden Barnes' stats, and you can tell who the quarterback is. Like
AJ Swan in.
If AJ Swan's in, Jaden Barnes is having a great day. If it's JJ Cole, Jaden Barnes is non-existent.
Yeah, it's Dozier.
Yeah, I think the one consistency is the tight end. Now, it ended up being Larkins. I thought it would be Hamlet. Hamlet was the guy that come in for Isaiah Cummings, who's out for the year at the ODU game. Hamlet was the one that had the big day after Cummings went out against ODU. I assumed it was him, but it was Larkins this week against the Eagles. But yeah. I mean, I think both quarterbacks have had turnover issues. JJ Cole had quite a few against Old Dominion, which got him benched, and AJ Swan came in and looked good in his. I think he led him to two touchdowns against Old Dominion, but he has his own turnover issues.
All right, let's move into our Saturday games. James Madison at Marshall. James Madison looked good in the first half. They were rolling. It's 21-12. Marshall kicker, Lorcan Quinn. Boy, this boy has a leg. He had a 49 and 52-yard field goal in the first half. mean, dude could probably be good for 60, maybe even 65. He absolute cannon of a leg.
Lork and another guy we talked about in our Worker Bee series with the Thundercats when we previewed the herd. They were excited to get Lork and Quinn there in Huntington.
All right. In the second half, the Dukes offense struggled a bit as their only real highlight was their one play, 80-yard drive that saw a connection between Barnett and Jalen Sanchez. Honestly, thought at a point in the game, I think it was about 7:47 left in the third, you thought that JMU's up 28-12. I just thought that would be it. Like, JMU's going to roll in this one. However, Marshall would respond with a touchdown. Then the Thundering Herd would force a takeaway and then turn that into 3 points. So now all of a sudden it's 28-23. JMU with 10 minutes left in the fourth. Marshall would force a 3-and-out, but do nothing on offense. The defense would force another 3-and-out. And then the key point in this game came down to 4th and 2 from the JMU 45. Antoine Roberts would get stuffed. Then JMU would score quick on a 49-yard pass from Barnett to Wayne Knight. JMU goes up 35-23 with 2:16 left, and that would be the final. JMU wins.
Yeah, I mean, it was the 75 game for Marshall, so I thought that would give him some, a little bit extra. And I think it did, but at the end of the day, the better team did win the game. As much as it pains me to say that.
Southern Miss at Arkansas State. First offensive play was a pass from Raynor to Chauncey Cobb, who would fumble the ball, which I feel like has started to become more Cobb in here the last 2-3 weeks. Southern Miss would recover and score 3. Early in this one, Braylon Braxton ran for 16 yards right up the middle, about midfield, but he would land right on his right kneecap. It went straight into the turf. It looked hard. They started limping after it, but he would finish the drive. That honestly, they should have got a touchdown, but they ended up getting stopped on 4th down at the Arkansas State 5. He would miss a few series, but he would come back later in the first half. At this point in the time, he just finished the drive. It's 7-3 Arkansas State, but when he would return, it's 17-7. So they were able to do pretty well. Let's move on to the fourth quarter. It's 27-14 Southern Miss. Arkansas State would get the ball with 5:34 left. They were able to punch it in on a Raynard pass, and the Red Wolves are now down 6, 27-21, with 5:13 left. They would get their chance as they would get the ball with 1:09 left, march it down the field on 2nd and 10 from the Southern Miss 13 with 4 seconds left. Raynor would throw an INT. Southern Miss escapes. Raynor threw 4 interceptions in this one. Something that happened way back, I think it was in the first quarter, could have been in the second quarter. It was just a weird play. So Arkansas State punts it to Southern Miss. Southern Miss calls for a fair catch, and he's standing at the 2, and he touches it. That bounces into the end zone, and Arkansas State recovers it. So everyone in the stadium, everyone on the defense are they're signaling for a safety because it touched the guy's hand. And that's what I thought. I'm you muffed the punt.
Right. They looked at it for a while.
Yeah, they looked at it. It's end up called a touchback because he never had possession of it, which I still don't get. Maybe I don't know, but I don't know. I live in Iowa. I was there. There was a punt. There was a fair catch that wasn't called a fair catch. And they fumbled. I don't know. I thought it was a safety, but I don't know. Just me. It was a weird play. Anyways, yeah. That's what it got called because he didn't possess the ball, and then, or that's what it was. So Arkansas State didn't recover it in the end zone. Southern Miss recovered it in the end zone. So because they called for a fair catch, but they didn't actually possess it in the field of play, their possession came in the end zone, and that's where they were touched. It came out as a touchback. So weird play. All right, Georgia State at Coastal Carolina. This Coastal team is a brand new team since Samari Collier has taken over. If they were to play ODU at this point, I don't think it's 44-7, whatever that game was. Yeah. I think that would be a whole different game. First offensive possession, he took it 85 yards to the house. The first quarter was exciting as each team would score twice. After the first half, it was 23-14 in favor of Coastal. Third quarter was all Coastal, but what sealed the game was a Collier to Camario English, who I think maybe was a UNC commit at one point. I think maybe he even went there. It was a 3-yard touchdown pass, put Coastal up 33-14 with 1:43 left in the third. Georgia State only had 2 first downs in the quarter. They just did not move the ball very well. Coastal would end up winning this one 40-27. But the wild thing I want to point out, and it happened in the fourth, is Georgia State not only recovered 1 onside kick, but 2 in back-to-back tries. Georgia State scored on a touchdown to make it 40-20, then an onside, and then a touchdown to make it 40-27, then an onside. They got the turnover on downs. Had they scored a touchdown and made that one 40-34, that really would have made things crazy. Like onside kicks, you just don't see them and happen in back-to-back tries. That was pretty impressive.
And multiple. If they had scored, it would have been multiples.
Yeah. All right. Texas State at Louisiana. This was a back and forth in the first, but the second quarter Louisiana. The second quarter was Louisiana's momentum as Louisiana would take 14-7 lead on a 27-yard passing touchdown from Lunch Winfield to Caden Jensen. Then it was Jackson on Jackson crime as Brad Jackson would be intercepted by Cody Jackson. Louisiana would turn that into 7 points, and then Texas State on the next Texas State drive would end in a sack fumble recovered by Louisiana. They would go to turn that into 7 more points. Each team would tack on another touchdown prior to the half, and it's 35-17 Louisiana. There were only 3 points scored in the third quarter. It's now 35-20 in favor of Louisiana. Then the fourth quarter got fun. Each team would score a touchdown as it's 42-26 with about 12 minutes to go in the game. Lunch would be intercepted. Brad Jackson would find Bo Sparks immediately for a 38-yard touchdown within 19 seconds. They would not get the 2-point conversion, so it was a 10-point deficit. Louisiana would go 3 and out. Texas State was able to score again to make it 42-39 with 3:12 left in the game. On 3rd and 13, Sampson would gain 19. Then 3 straight Texas State penalties would give Louisiana a free 25 yards. Then on 4th and 2 from the Texas State 31, Lunch keeps it, runs for 7. Louisiana holds on for a 42-39 win. Things got chippy at the end as Texas State would have an unnecessary roughness penalty on that Lunch Winfield 2-yard loss. Then there's the brawl that we talked about at the beginning that happened and all those suspensions that came thereafter. Sunbelt Conference Bowl eligibility. We've got ODU, Southern Miss, Troy, JMU, and our new team to add this week, Coastal Carolina. Chance up. Week 12 preview. Thursday game. Justice will be at the game. Troy at Old Dominion, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. ODU favored by 11.5. Over-under set at 53.5. I'm not touching it. We got a quarterback controversy here for Troy. I don't know what that's going to look like. I'll just watch the game.
Give me ODU laying the points. It's a Thursday night game, national TV, ESPN. ESPN Sports Center is going to be broadcasting live from Old Dominion 2 to 3 p.m. that day. I plan on being there with a sign or two. So if you're watching ESPN, look out. I plan on having a G5 Hive sign. We'll see if I can make it up on Sports Center. ODU plays well on Thursday nights, man. ODU plays well after a bye week under Ricky Ronnie. I think ODU. I mean, we saw it last year. the best game ODU played all last season.
Georgia Southern.
Same thing, a Thursday night game, prime time ESPN against Georgia Southern. I mean, they absolutely destroyed Georgia Southern. I think if they can not have so many turnovers, they can not turn the ball over. I think ODU can have something similar. But they've had a propensity to turn the ball over this year, and it kind of keeps games closer than they should. Drone show at halftime. It's Military Appreciation Week. Ricky Ronnie, they just released a video that was recorded from back in August, where Ricky Ronnie got to fly in a fighter jet. I think the crowd's gonna be electric. It's gonna be a fun time, fun game. I think Colton Joseph, Trey Brown, Corey Thomas, Naeem Gladding. One thing to know about Troy is their slot corner is not very good, and they give up a lot of points to the slot wide receiver. So I'm expecting a huge game from Naeem Abdul-Rahim Gladding. He's the slot receiver for ODU. I think Colton Joseph can have a big game on the ground as well. We saw what Lunch Winfield did against Troy a couple weeks ago, and I think Colton's a better runner than Lunch, and obviously a better passer too. So you got that threat of the passing game. I look for ODU to have a big game and a big win against Troy. We don't know they're going to start Goose or Tucker. They say they're both going to play. It just feels like if Goose is the starter, he gets hit hard one time, maybe he goes back out. I don't know. But I'm looking forward to it. Should be a fun game, and hopefully ODU can get a W. And if ODU wins the game, it'll be the first time under Ricky Ronnie that they have had a winning season. That'll get him to 7 wins. So let's hope ODU can pull it off.
All right, Saturday games. Marshall at Georgia State, 2 p.m. Eastern. Marshall favored by 7.5 points. Over under set at 63.5. I'm going to lay the points with Marshall. Georgia State just hasn't been playing well.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take Marshall on the road.
Yeah, I agree. Carlos Del Rio Wilson, Lacey should have DeMarcus Lacey should have big games for the Herd. Antoine Roberts, another one, I think have a big game. And Georgia State looks better with Cameron Brown, man, but they got bigger problems as just a quarterback. I don't think Del McGee gets fired after 2 years, but man, you got to think he starts next year on the hot seat.
All right. App State at number 24, James Madison, 3:30 p.m. Eastern. JMU favored by 21.5. Over under set at 53.5. I think I'm going to lay the points with JMU. I'm going to assume AJ Swan's going to start. I'm going to assume AJ Swan's going to throw 2 interceptions. Just going to be hard to win on the road against this defense. They're playing pretty well. Give me JMU laying it with points.
Give me App State in the points. It sounds crazy. But App State always plays JMU tough. A couple years ago, JMU's first year in the FBS, very similar situation to this year. JMU was ranked. They were talking about, hey, should we be able to play in the playoffs? Should we play in the playoffs? Should we be in the Sun Belt Championship game?
Not the playoffs, but it was we need to be bowl
eligible. The New Year's Six bowl game is what it was back then. They were writing letters to senators, and the Virginia senators were writing letters, and all this stuff, all this hype about JMU. And guess who came to town? An App State team that wasn't very good, but they pulled off the upset in Harrisonburg. So yeah, I don't think App State wins the game, but I do think they cover the spread.
So you just said something there at the beginning. You said it might be crazy. I don't think so. I'm the one who took Sam Houston and the points. So I think I could be the clinically crazy.
I mean, like to the average fan, it's gonna seem crazy, right? But App State, man, like I said, they have some history with JMU, and again, this situation reminds me of 2 years ago, kind of the same thing. App State, JMU's ranked, getting a lot of hype, and App State came to town 2 years ago and beat James Madison. I don't think they beat them this year, but I do think they cover that spread.
Sorry, excuse me. South Alabama at UL Monroe, 3:30 p.m. Eastern. South Alabama favored by 4.5. Over under set at 51.5. I think I'm going to take the over 51.5. South Alabama scores pretty regularly, but you also don't know what kind of Davenport's going to show up in the game. But South Alabama's defense, hopefully they spent the bye week practicing form tackling, because that defense hasn't been good. I think UL Monroe can break a couple in this one, so I'm going to take the over 51.5.
I'm going to take South Alabama and lay the points. ULM is not good. They don't have much of a passing game at all, or a threat of a passing game. So I think South Alabama rolls in this game.
Texas State at Southern Miss, 3:30 p.m. Eastern. Tough game to lose any kind of players in a brawl. Southern Mississippi favored by 5.5. Over under set 65.5. I'm gonna lay the points with Southern Miss. They're rolling, and what a turnaround!
I agree with you. I mean, like, I don't know, like the brawl kind of feels like GJ Kinney has kind of like lost the team, right? Like, obviously he admonished the behavior after the fact, but man, like, it's not a good year for the Bobcats. Offensively, they play fine. It's the defense is just really bad, and then they lose some of their best defensive players because of suspension. Southern Miss, though, man, like we talked about last week, what a phenomenal job Coach Huff has done there, Coach Anderson. They're going to, I mean, I feel pretty good about all that money I put on Southern Miss to win the Sun Belt West. It looks like, they have a 1-game lead right now on Troy. Old Dominion. If Old Dominion beats Troy, that gives them a 2-game lead. Southern Miss, worst to first. Quite a year for Southern Miss.
All right, and then Coastal Carolina at Georgia Southern, 6 p.m. Eastern. Georgia Southern favored by 2.5. Over under set at 60.5. I think the wrong team's favored. Give me Coastal Carolina the points based off how they've been playing this the last month, and honestly how bad Georgia Southern's defense is against the running game.
Yeah.
In particular, the running back. Samari is more of a running back than he is a quarterback, so I assume he's going to run all over the place. I would expect if you could find like a player prop of him of 65 yards or more, you can outline that up to 90, 100, probably. He's going to crush.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the wrong team's favored. I like Coastal Carolina. Georgia Southern, like they seem to be able to play good in spurts. Like they'll play good in the first half or in the second half. They can't seem to, offensively, they can't really seem to put a whole game together. And I think that's what they would need to do to beat Coastal Carolina. Because, like to your point, I don't think this defense is going to be able to stop Samari Collier and this running game for the Chanticleers. So yeah, give me the Chanticleers and the points.
All right, let's move on over to our Mountain West Conference and our Week 11 in review. Saturday games: Air Force at San Jose State. This was the ground versus the air. Even though they're Air Force, they're on the ground. San Jose State in the air. Walker Eget leg injury on a 12-yard run early in the first quarter, and that happened. The San Jose State offense just kind of sputtered. Xavier Ward would come in and fumble, and Air Force would turn that into 7 points. Eget would come back in on the next drive and throw his first interception since the Texas game. Air Force would turn over into 7 points again. Then Eget would throw another interception, but Air Force would punt it back and pin San Jose at the 6. What next? A pass in the end zone, It goes off of a defensive lineman's hand. It goes back to Egan, who like tries to slap it down, but it hits an defensive lineman, jumps back up, and bounces off the helmet or hands or whatever. But then it goes right into Lamar Radcliffe's in the end zone. He gets tackled. It's a safety. It would be 16-3 in favor of Air Force at the half. Early in the fourth, Steve Chavez Soto would run it in from 8 yards out to make it 16-13 Air Force, but Air Force would respond with a touchdown of their own to go up 10 with 9:11 left, and they would go on to win this one 26-16. Justice mentioned it earlier, but Walker Egan just lost some of that mobility and had a hard time pushing off on some of those deep throws. Nevada at Utah State. Nevada amassed 20 yards in the first quarter and was down 24-0. Nevada would only manage to get 5 more yards on 4 possessions in the second quarter. They're now down 41-0 at the half. Utah State rolls 51-14.
Good to see Bryson Barnes get back on track in the Utah State offense. They'd had some up and down struggles recently.
And then you wanted to talk about spurts when we were talking about Sun Belt. I can't remember which team it was, but you were talking about spurts.
Oh, Georgia Southern.
Georgia Southern. This team is all about spurts. UNLV versus Colorado State. Colorado State had a strong start to the game. This is a spurt I'm talking about. Like, you get glimpses of it with Colorado State. They had a strong start to the game. 75-yard drive that would end in a Rocky Beers touchdown catch from 3 yards out. UNLV would punt. Colorado State would also have to punt it back. But on UNLV's next drive, they would march it down the field, and Calandra would be intercepted in the end zone. And that's roughly when the magic stopped for Colorado State. They just, had it short, and they just can't sustain it for very long. UNLV scores 21 points in the second quarter. They go up to the half, 21-10. Colorado State would only get 1 first down in the third quarter, while UNLV would tack on 14 more points to lead 35-10 after 3 quarters of football. UNLV tacks on 1 more touchdown, wins this game 42-10. Then, something I did not have on my bingo card was this game. San Diego State got worked in this one. San Diego State wouldn't get their second first down of the game till the 49-second mark in the first half. Hawaii was up 24-6 at the half, thanks in part to Jackson Harris's 116 receiving yards and 3 touchdown grabs in the half. And then Adenagil pick 6 with 2:16 left in the third. Left no question in this one, as the Rainbow Warriors would go up 38-6, and they would win by that same score.
Yeah, it's I'm not surprised Hawaii won, so to speak, but I'm surprised
how dominating it was.
Yeah, I'm surprised by how dominated it was. Absolutely. Mike
right.
Alejado, man, like doing what we expected.
All right, bowl eligibility for the Mountain West. As you see, we've got Boise State, New Mexico, Hawaii, Fresno State, UNLV, San Diego State. No new teams to add this week. Week 12 previews, all Saturday games here. Air Force versus UConn, 12 p.m. Eastern. UConn favored by 7.5 points, over under set at 63.5. I'm tempted to take the over. Air Force, you think, is going to, control the clock, but they kind of score quick too. UConn's defense isn't like spectacular, but UConn's offense pretty good. So I think I am going to take the over in the points.
I'm going to take UConn and lay the 7.5 points. I think they'll win. I think they win by double digits, 10 or more in this game.
All right, Colorado State at New Mexico, 3 p.m. Eastern kickoff. New Mexico favored by 14.5. Over under set at 53.5. I'm going to lay the points with New Mexico. Colorado State, like I said, they're good for spurts. They just can't sustain it for an entire game. Give me New Mexico.
Yeah, I agree with you. New Mexico, fighting to potentially maybe get into that Mountain West Conference Championship game. And
that's going to be a big fight here, because New Mexico, Boise State, Hawaii,
Utah State, UNLV's all 3-2. Boise State, San Diego State 4-1. Yeah, it's going to be a dogfight to see who who makes it to that Mountain West championship game.
San Jose State at Nevada, 3:30 p.m. Eastern. San Jose State favored by 9.5. Over/under set at 52.5. I'm tempted to take the over because I think San Jose could honestly get there by themselves, but they just haven't been playing like super well. So I think I'm going to take.
Feels like it needs to be a healthy Egan to get there, right? Like that's probably the big issue concern.
Yeah, I think I'm going to lay the points with San Jose State. Granted, San Jose State's defense hasn't been playing well, but Nevada, I'm trying to think that freshman quarterback that they've been having in there. Carter Jones just ain't it right now.
Yeah.
So
I think I'd take San Jose State and lay the points. I think regardless of Egan's health, they can win this game by 10. But it wouldn't shock me to see them kind of lean on the running game, right? With Chavez Soto and Lamar Radcliffe. If Egan's not going to be good. But yeah, I think regardless, I do think that they can win this game by 10. So give me San Jose State laying the 9.5 points.
All right. And then we've got Utah State at UNLV. UNLV favored by 6.5 points. Over/under set at 70.5.
It's an elimination game right here, buddy. Like loser of this game is probably eliminated from making the conference championship. So huge game.
I think I would take the under 70.5. I just feel like that's a big number, and I think both of these teams have struggled from time to time. But I think UNLV favored by 6.5 at home. I might take Utah State in the points.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Utah State wins the game outright. So if I'm getting the 6.5 points, definitely that's the side I prefer. And I agree with you that over under is kind of is a high number. I think there's going to be a lot of scoring. I don't know you're going to get to 70 though.
Yeah, so I think I feel more comfortable taking the under 70. Anyways, another big game. I don't think I got this graphic justice. I think I missed it, but it's Boise State at San Diego State. San Diego State favored by 2.5 points. Over/under set at 41.5. I'm going to lay the points with San Diego State because Maddox Batson isn't going to be there. The San Diego State defense should be able to handle Boise State, especially being at Snapdragon Stadium. Give me San Diego State laying the points.
And Lucky Sutton probably should have a big game. Look for him to have a big game. The Boise State run defense has not been good, so I expect the Aztecs to lean on Lucky in this one. Give me San Diego State laying the 2.5 points.
All right. I don't know how I missed that game. Anyways, now what I do have graphics for: Wyoming at Fresno State, 10:30 p.m. Eastern. Fresno State favored by 3.5 points. Over/under set at 40.5. Am I crazy to take the under 40.5? I don't know.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I don't know that I want to mess with either Fresno or Wyoming on the game. So I think the over under is the way to go with the under. It's going to be a rock fight. It's another rock fight game. Two teams that just want to play defense and run the ball. I mean, if I had to pick like a team, I think I like Wyoming, but I think I like the under a lot more. Wyoming with new offensive coordinator, Javon Bonites look good. They've got the bye week. Got Gillenborg coming back to full health. That Fresno State passing game, even the running game, leaves a lot to be desired, I think, at times. I like the Cowboys to win, but I like the under most.
All right. Well, let's head on over to our last conference of the night, and that's the Mid-American Conference. Week 11 in review. It's time for that midweek MACtion. It's that time of the year. Let's get out that raccoon. The MACcoon. Tuesday games, UMass at Akron. Game started off rough for UMass, and it was Rocco Griffin, a negative 8-yard run, which he fumbled, and Akron scored a touchdown 3 plays later. After one quarter, it was 14-10 Akron in a close one. UMass had problems moving the ball in the second as they amassed only 7 yards on 3 drives. It's now 27-10 Akron at the half, and Akron was now starting to run away with this. In the second half, they received the kickoff and would fumble on their drive. However, UMass would fumble the ball right back, but Gage Summers would recover for his second fumble recovery of the night and return this one to the house for 34-10 lead. Akron rolls as they go on to win 44-10. Miami versus Ohio. First half was a defensive struggle before all the points came rolling in the second half. Saya Bangura had a 97-yard kickoff return for a touchdown to put Ohio up 17-13 early in the fourth. It felt like Miami was trying to get some momentum back because they would go for it on 4th and 9 at Ohio's 27, and Finn found Cam Perry for a 27-yard touchdown to go up 20-17. But then it kind of felt weird that they would not go for 3 with 9:29 left in the game. Turned out to work, but I was scratching my head at this. Anyways, with 2:29 left in the game, Parker Navarro found Rodney Harris II for a 49-yard touchdown to put them up 24-20. 2 plays later, Finn would be intercepted as it looked like there was some miscommunication on the route. The running back cut it up. Finn thought it would be kind of more in the flat. Ohio escapes. Turnovers continue to be the story of the season for Ohio. Navarro had an interception and lost a fumble in this one. Chase Hendricks was held in checks, but the Red Hawks had no answer for Saya Bangura. He had 102 and 1 on the ground, and then that 97-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. I will say Chase Hendricks had a pretty sweet catch over the middle, kind of like stole the ball from a defender. This was Miami's first regular season loss in its last 12 MAC games. Ohio's now 22-1 all-time at the Frank. Wednesday games. Kent State versus Ball State. I'm going to jump right to the fourth quarter. It's 13-10 Kent State. Kent State has the ball at the Ball State 41, and it's 4th and 1 with 3:54 left to go in the game. Now, instead of punting the ball and pinning Ball State back, Kent State, up by 3, goes for it. I get trusting your players, put the ball, go win the game. But your defense has been playing well all night. Anyways, on a Wildcat formation, Jordan Newman gets stopped on a -4 yard play, and Ball State takes over. I mean, the snap wasn't great by any means. It was I think it was off to the left and low, but I didn't like the call. Kelly would find Cameron Anthony for a 29-yard touchdown pass, and they go up 17-13 with 1:53 left. And that's all she wrote. Ball State wins this one 17-13 on a gift from Kent State. That is now Kent State's second MAC loss after leading at the 2-minute mark in the fourth quarter. It was this one and then the Buffalo one earlier in the season. Ball State was outgained by 63 yards, but never turned it over or turnover on downs, while also committing just 4 penalties on the night. Ball State has more wins than they did in 2024 under their first-year head coach, Mike Rasimovich.
Yeah, it's I don't know. Like I said, I think last year I predicted against the last week. I predicted a Kent State win, and like I said, they kind of gave it away there. At the end.
They gave it. It was bad. It was bad. All right, Northern Illinois versus Toledo. Travion Rudolph versus his old team, and he returns the opening kickoff, 96 yards for a touchdown. I mean, could you have written anything better? Gleason told Justice he is tired of his slander and was 25 of 31 for 309 and 2 touchdowns while also running one in. Chip Trainum made his return. He had 11 rushes for 36 yards and 1 touchdown on the ground while also adding 52 yards on 6 receptions. Toledo controlled this game from the opening kickoff as they won this one 42-3.
Yeah, it was an ugly game. Not much to add.
Saturday games, Bowling Green at Eastern Michigan. Bowling Green leaned on running back Austin Denny, who ran 21 times for 113 yards and 2 touchdowns. Eastern Michigan leaned on Dante McMillan, who ran for 100 yards and a touchdown. Noah Kim threw for 210 yards and a score. The touchdown toss came towards the end of the third to put the Eagles up 17-14. I mentioned McMillan had a touchdown on the ground. That would happen with 10:18 left in the fourth to extend Eastern Michigan's lead to 10. Bowling Green would respond with a touchdown of their own to cut the lead to 3 with just under 5 to go. Noah Kim would connect twice with Nick Devereaux on a 3rd and long. Their position, one was for 15 yards on a 3rd and 7. The other was for 28 yards on a 3rd and 12. Those plays, plus Dante McMillan running the ball, ate up 3 minutes and 46 seconds and ended with a field goal to put Eastern Michigan up 6 with 1:01 left. Defensive lineman Ron Harden would seal the game with a game-ending sack, and Eastern Michigan holds on for a 27-21 win.
Gotta wonder at this point, do you think they save? I mean, their record's not good, but like, what are they going to do with Chris Creighton? They going to let him go, or yeah?
All right. MAC bowl eligibility. We've got one. And that's the Ohio Bobcats. Now we're going to get into our Week 12 previews, and this is going to be the battle for teams to become bowl eligible. Like, that's what this week is in the MAC. We've got Tuesday games. Kent State versus Akron, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Akron favored by 5.5 points. Over under set at 46.5. I think I'm just going to stay away from this one.
Sorry, I'm laughing at some of the comments we just got on YouTube. I don't. It's almost like we're getting punked or something. But yeah, I don't know. Anyway, back to Kent State at Akron. Give me. I like Kent State, man. Give me Kent State. I think they get out of their own way and get the win against the Zips this week. But yeah, phenomenal job there by Mark Carney. I think he adds another win for the Golden Flashes this year in a season that's kind of weird for Kent State, but he's getting the job done.
All right, and then we've got Ohio at Western Michigan, 8 p.m. Eastern. Western Michigan looking to become bowl eligible in this one. Western Michigan favored by 1.5 points, over under set at 46.5. I'm tempted to lay the points with Western Michigan. It's at home. Ohio's been throwing interceptions, fumbles. They haven't been playing well. I think I'm going to lay the points with Western Michigan. I don't feel great about it, but
yeah, I mean, Ohio's just never, like to your point, Luke's never all season they haven't played up to their potential. We saw it again last week with the turnovers from Parker Navarro. I mean, I think Ohio gets the win. So Western Michigan being favored by the 1.5 kind of does surprise me a little bit. It is at home, but yeah, give me the Bobcats. I just think they have too much talent with Parker, Sabangura, and Chase Hendricks. I think they win this game outright. That spread's a little puzzling to me, but
all right. Wednesday games. We've got Buffalo at Central Michigan, 7 p.m. Eastern. Both teams with 5 wins, so somebody is going to become bowl eligible in this one. Central Michigan favored by 1.5 points, over under set at 42.5. I feel like I'm going to take Buffalo in the points, but I don't feel strong about it. I don't feel strong about all of the MAC, honestly, but I think I am going to take Buffalo in the points.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. Can they get Al-J Henderson on track? Central Michigan, no Flores. I think that hurts their offense. Taquan Roberson, Aljay Henderson, Victor Snow. Nick McMillan's been playing really well the last few weeks. You got Red Murdoch and Deion Crawford, the two linebackers for the Bulls. I think they'll have a big game in the tackle department, right? Central Michigan likes to run the ball a lot. I think if I had to pick something, I think I'm going to take the under in this game, the under 42.5.
All right. And then Northern Illinois at UMass, 7 p.m. Eastern. Northern Illinois favored by 10.5, over under set at 42.5. I feel like I would just take the under 42.5 because I feel like Northern Illinois will have to do all of that.
Yeah, this is an ugly game, man. This is going to be a real ugly game. Northern Illinois offensively doesn't look good. They can run the ball, can't pass it. UMass hasn't looked good in general at all. No wins. They are the only winless team left in the G5. I think I take the under, but this is going to be probably the ugliest game of the week, and not anything that I want to spend my time watching.
All right, Toledo at Miami, 7 p.m. Eastern, both teams with 5 wins. So, again, another team will become bowl eligible here. Toledo favored by 3.5 on the road, 44.5 point over under. I'm going to stay clear of this one. What Toledo team do you get?
Which Tucker Gleason do you get is really, really more of the question versus which Toledo team do you get. He had a good game last week, so he's probably due for a bad one this week. But getting Chip Tranos back is huge for the Rockets.
I think I'll lay the points with Toledo, but I don't feel great about it.
Yeah, I mean, Toledo, to have a shot at the MAC championship game, this is a must-win game for Toledo. I don't know. It's an avoid for me because of Tucker Gleason. I just can't, in good faith. I think Toledo's a better team, but Tucker Gleason just, sorry, got to continue the Tucker Gleason slander. He's not a good quarterback. He's so inconsistent. I can't in good conscience put any money on Toledo with him at QB.
All right. And then Saturday game, Eastern Michigan versus Ball State, 12 p.m. Eastern. Eastern Michigan favored by 2.5, over under set at 50.5. I'm going to lay the points with Eastern Michigan on the road. They're going to sling the ball around, and I anticipate Dante McMillan will help them eat up some time. I think Eastern Michigan, like I said, lays the points there with 2.5.
Yeah, I feel like of all the MAC games, this one feels like the slam dunk from a betting perspective. Eastern Michigan laying the points there, the 2.5 points against Ball State. Ball State's not good. Should have lost to Kent State this week. I think we saw Eastern Michigan just beat Bowling Green. Eastern Michigan is the better team. They got the better offense. They can beat you with running the ball, or they can beat you with Noah Kim throwing it. I look for Eastern Michigan to roll in this one, and to me, it's a easy take Eastern Michigan laying the 2.5 points, get them to 4 wins on the year and 3-4 in the MAC.
All right, we did it. The marathon, it's over.
Yep.
Got a little weird at the end by the comments, but
yeah, I was like, if you want some entertainment, go read the YouTube comments. I'll just leave it at that. Interesting. If you're looking for the 2020 guys, the 2020 players offense will be tweeted out at this point later today for me anyway. Tuesday, offense Tuesday, defense on Wednesday. We will cover the 2020 again, probably the end of the season. That's going to do it. So if you're watching us on YouTube, please hit that like and subscribe button. On X, give us a follow. If you're listening on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify, please subscribe and leave those 5-star ratings and reviews. We're so grateful for the immense amount of support that we have received over the course of this year with the website and everything that we do. We thank each and every one of you. Be sure to join us next week as we discuss what happened in Week 12. We look forward to what is coming in Week 13. And as always, bring you up to date on all the latest news and happenings in the world of G5 college football. Till the next time, we are the G5 Hive.